So in this example, I'm going to look at one example of an interactive media product and to try and identify the different techniques used in that product. Specifically, we're going to describe the techniques in terms of control and the types of response. So I'm going to look at how I control it and how it responds. Talking about the purpose of the examples, and the one we're going to look at is example 2 on this page. It's called Noisely, which is a website or a web application, and the web address is noisly.com, Noisli.com. Okay, so what we're faced with when we first enter the page is a gradiating background colour. The colour changes over a period of time. Sometimes it's very subtle and sometimes it's a bit more obvious. Essentially, Noisely is its main purpose is productivity, but its secondary purposes are perhaps to create background noise to relax to. So, what is it and what does it do? It's a web application, so it should work in most web browsers, either on a mobile device or on a computer. And it's got a series of icons, and these icons represent different sounds that you can recreate. So, just go from that to that. And so, for instance, we can have rain, and I can decide how much rain I want to hear. Perhaps I want to hear just a little bit of distant rain. Perhaps I also like to hear some sea. And perhaps that's a little bit loud too. And maybe the hum of a bird in the background. And so at first it might seem like a novelty. And the intention is that you can also at the same time set work periods. So periods of 20-25 minutes where you work, periods where you don't work, so you can change how you respond, I suppose, in that respect. There's also a text editor. So essentially it's a place to come and to write, but you could quite easily have it running in the background. But if obviously the colours don't really make any effect when you are working with it in the background, but at least you get the sound. So control methods. As you've seen on the page, I hover to the side or anywhere and I get the options available to me. So in the top right hand corner I've got a button. When I hover over it, it gives me the volume overall for the page, or to mute. So when I click on it, it becomes muted and it goes white as opposed to grey. So anything that is selected or I'm working with goes white to let me know that that's what I am using. So that indicates the page that I'm on. Settings, and I can flip between the text editor and the sound generator. And as I hover over them, I get an alt tag. This basically says that the name of the image is some kind of meaningful thing. So we've got wind. Click on that. That becomes active, so it's lighter than the ones that are inactive. If I hover over any of these buttons, they highlight. So I can also save this as my seaside, and that becomes seaside. So I set the timer, 25 minutes of seaside, and I can just do some typing work, which obviously I can control with the keyboard because it's like using the keyboard, and it responds by inserting characters into the text window. So when I hover over to the side, the whole menu appears as a menu to the left and to the right. I can also download text that I'm working with as a text file locally, save it to Dropbox, or even save it to Google Drive if I'm signed in, so it depends on how you signed in as to how it responds. And so it's pretty simplistic, and that's what it does.